This year, Nico Iamaliava might finally become the quarterback everybody thought he was going to be. And the crazy part, well, in this episode of the Big Ten Huddle presented by FanDuel, I'm telling you why. I don't think the biggest reason is his arm. I don't think it's his athleticism. I don't even think it's some magical, new offensive scheme. The biggest difference might simply be this. For the first time in a while, Nico Iamaliava actually looks comfortable. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, right? It's like, oh, comfortable. All right, cool. Well, but we're talking about a former five-star quarterback, a guy who has already started major college football games, a player we've been hearing about nationally for years. But hear me out, because what UCLA is seeing from Nico in fall camp isn't just another August story about a quarterback throwing the ball well. There's all kinds of things going into this. Yeah, he's always thrown the ball well. We've always known that he has the arm. It's the leadership, it's the command, it's the confidence, it's the ownership of the offense that we're seeing out of Nico right now. Now, I'm not a big leadership, wins you the games type of stuff guy. I do think that impacts it in some ways, but it's not going to change your entire season. But everything that else that goes with it, the confidence is one of the biggest things. And the confidence is real, all right? UCLA might finally be getting the version of Nico that everybody has been waiting for. But here's what changed. Nico has now had something he simply did not have before last season, even all the way back at Tennessee. He has a complete offseason to actually live inside the offense. Spring practice, summer workouts, meeting, throwing sessions, fall camp, all of it, and not just all of it, but all of it knowing he's the guy. They're investing in him. They know he's the guy. There's no position battle going on here. He knows it, he's confident, and he knows it's all his. And Bob Chesney has specifically talked about Nico being much more comfortable with what he is being asked to do, and that matters a ton. And head coaches who have successful quarterbacks know that their quarterbacks have to feel that way, because we talk about quarterbacks like they're some kind of Madden players, right? Strong arm, check. Fast, check. Five-star talent, check. Long, lean body, whatever it is, check, right? Okay, go win the game since you have all the stars and everything else. That's not how quarterbacks work, though. A quarterback can have every physical tool you want and still be playing half a second behind everybody else, because either he's thinking too much or he's hesitating. Basically, he's not confident. And where's the safety he's thinking of? What's the protection end? Did the linebackers rotate? Can I trust my offensive line to take care of me? Is the receiver breaking inside or outside? Do I have to change the play? And by the time you answer all of that in your head, the defensive end is already in your lap. He has already got you down on the ground and you're done, and he's yelling in your face saying something. That's what a full offseason can change. You stop solving the equation every snap and you start knowing the answer when it comes. And that brings us to the part of Nico's development that I think matters even more than the playbook. His teammates are beginning to talk about him like the quarterback is actually becoming the leader of the team. Not just the leader as in he's in front of guys talking, but the confidence leader, the guy who's trusting his teammates, who are showing his teammates, hey, you can do it for me, I can do it for you. And that's different. Roderick Pleasant has talked about Nico holding guys accountable and trying to elevate the people around him. That is the quarterback UCLA needs. Not simply the most talented guy, not simply the guy with the biggest recruiting ranking, not simply the guy that can, throw the ball 80 yards or whatever it is. I don't know how far he can throw it, but you know what I'm saying. The guy who can walk into a huddle after something goes wrong and everyone believes the next drive, all right, this guy's going to lead us through it. There's a huge difference between being the starting quarterback and being their quarterback. And I think Nico may have finally be moving toward that second category. Think about the last few years of his career, right? There's been hype, there's been change, there's been a lot of pressure. There's been coaches who I don't want to say don't understand how to coach the quarterback, but maybe don't have the emphasis on coaching the quarterback as others. There have been expectations attached to Nico Iamaleava since before he ever even became a full-time college starter. Everything has been examined, every decision, every throw, every move, and that's why I think that is one of the main reasons I think stability could end up being the secret weapon nobody talks about, because stability can give you confidence. It happens all the time in our lives, right? Stability in your relationships, stability in your shows that you watch, that gives you confidence that things will be there and that you can keep coming back to that. Sometimes development isn't always about adding something. Sometimes it's about removing the noise, removing the concern. You have the same coach, the same terminology, the same teammates, the same expectations, the same routine, whatever it might be. Another 1,000 reps with that kind of confidence will just make confidence a part of your game. And eventually the quarterback starts playing football instead of thinking about how to play football. That could be what UCLA is getting right now more than anything else. And there's another piece of this that makes the situation even more interesting. His name is Derek Carr. UCLA has added Derek Carr as a special advisor around the program. Now listen, I don't want to turn this into something that it's not. I'm not saying Derek Carr is the next best quarterback coach in the country, anything like that. Derek Carr is not suddenly the quarterback coach, okay? He's not going to walk into the building, wave a magic wand, and turn Nico into an NFL quarterback. But I love the resource of who he is. I love that he has done it at the NFL level. He's done it at the college level, because playing quarterback is different. You can have great offensive coaches. You can have great teachers, but there's value in having someone around you who has actually stood behind an NFL offensive line, seen the disguise coverages, handled pressure, and living through everything that comes with being the face of a good team. And Carr played more than a decade in the NFL. So if Nico has a question about footwork, protection, preparation, leadership, all those things, then handling a bad game, maybe whatever happens, let's hope it doesn't happen this year, handling criticism if somebody's coming after him in the media or something like that, there's another voice in that building who has lived it and who can give him advice on it and who can relate to him with it. And again, none of that guarantees anything, but this is exactly what I mean when I say UCLA might finally be giving Nico the environment he needs, and his confidence is stemming from that. And here's the question that changes UCLA's entire season, changes everything for him. What happens if Nico goes from being talented to being efficient? There are two completely different things here, right? Talented, you can run for the first down and get it, but if you can't rely on the guys around you, then you're not going to be efficient. Because UCLA does not need Nico Iamaleava to throw for 5,000 yards this season. Would it be great? Sure. That sounds like a great season if you ask me. They don't need him trying to win the Heisman every Saturday. They need him to make the right plays, make the right decisions, get UCLA into the right play, get them into the right position, hit the easy throw, protect the football, move the team down the field, and put them in position to win. Use his legs when the defense gives it to him, and then when the opportunity for the big play comes, go make it. That's it. That's the version of Nico Iamaliava that makes him very, very dangerous. It becomes even more dangerous because UCLA has worked to build a better situation around him. There's real optimism about the running back room with guys like Javian Thomas, Wayne Knight, Anthony Woods, multiple legitimate options that matters for the quarterback, because one of the easiest ways to destroy a talented quarterback is to make him responsible for everything. Make everything on his shoulders. And that's kind of what it was last season, right? 3rd and 3, look to Nico. Quarterback has to make the play. Red zone, look to Nico. Quarterback has to make the play. Running game struggles, look to Nico. Quarterback has to make the play, right? Offensive line breaks down, look to Nico. Quarterback has to make the play. I mean, that he had to figure everything out, and it was exhausting. And eventually, sorry, I take a drink. And eventually, quarterbacks start forcing things because they feel that nothing happens unless they can make something happen themselves. And that's been happening with Nico at Tennessee and at UCLA. If UCLA can actually run the football, Nico can breathe a little. It gives him the opportunity for play action, which can be really dangerous. Linebackers have to respect the run. Pass rushers can't just tee off on him. The defense has another problem than just Nico has a talented arm. And suddenly, those physical tools everybody has talked about with Nico become much harder to defend. That's the butterfly effect here. A better running game could produce a better quarterback. I mean, just look at Indiana with Kirk Cinetti, right? They're talking about it all the time. They're saying, oh yeah, Josh Hoover, we're not going to make him do everything. We're going to give him a good defense and a good running game. Kirk Cinetti doesn't just say that for no reason, right? A better quarterback could produce longer drives, protect UCLA's defense, and suddenly a team, a team that people expect to be rebuilding starts becoming really uncomfortable to play because they're actually a team working together. And this is where I think expectations can get weird. There's going to be a temptation to say, well, if Nico is really that talented, UCLA should immediately win 9 or 10 games. And while I do think that's possible, I'm going to slow that down. Okay, Bob Chesney is still building this program. There are still a ton of new pieces. There's still, there will still be ugly stretches. There will probably be games where UCLA looks exactly like a team learning how to become something different. Okay, this isn't going to be 11-1 Kirk Cinetti in his very first year or anything like that. I don't think those are fair expectations to put on Bob Chesney. That doesn't mean the Nico development isn't real, though. The better test is this: does he look like he's in control? Does the offense function well? Does UCLA avoid stretches where everything feels chaotic? Does Nico make the routine plays? And does the development of Nico Iamaleava set UCLA and Bob Chesney up to be known for guys who can develop quarterbacks? Because that's the stuff that eventually turns into wins now and wins in the transfer portal, wins down the road in other games. And we aren't the only ones seeing this. I like to check FanDuel regularly during the season to kind of see where odds change and see if news is different now than it was, or things are different now than it was because of news. Well, fall camp has changed things for UCLA. Since fall camp opened, they have entered the top half of the Big Ten in odds to make the playoffs. They sit at 9th right now, above teams like Illinois, Nebraska, Minnesota, and more. During the season, that's one odd I really want to watch specifically to see after they beat Cal. Well, if they beat Cal, but I think they should, right? People will say anything about UCLA in August. They'll say Nico is fixed. They'll say UCLA is terrible. They'll say Bob Chesney is ahead of schedule. They'll say this is going to be a long year, right? The betting market eventually forces everybody to put an actual number on what they believe. If UCLA starts playing cleaner football and Nico looks dramatically more comfortable, watch whether expectations around this team begin changing. That will tell you people are starting to believe in what they're seeing, and that the prediction markets, who are not out here to lose money, actually believe the same thing too. But here's my biggest takeaway. Okay, Nico Iamaliava does not need to become somebody new. That's actually not what the story is about at all. UCLA isn't trying to manufacture talent that isn't there. The arm is there. The athleticism is there. The experience is there. The ceiling has always been there. What UCLA is trying to do is remove everything preventing those things from consistently showing up. Give him a full offseason. Give him the confidence. Give him command of the system. Give him legitimate running game. Give him a good defense he can rely on. Give him veteran quarterback knowledge around the building. And most importantly, make the team his. So it's not just that he's confident, but his team is confident in him as well. That's what the early signs from camp suggest may be happening. Not perfection. Nobody's here saying that UCLA is perfect or anything this season. But I don't think it'll be like last season. This is not some guarantee that Nico suddenly becomes one of the best quarterbacks or anything like that. But comfort, confidence, huge thing. Leadership, as we talked about, making other people confident in him too. And those are exactly the developments UCLA needs to see in order for this season to not be like last year. Nobody wants to see it like last year. But for this season to be what they need to continue to build the program. So they are not just a middle or lower middle of the part team in the Big Ten, but they are actually a second tier, maybe even someday a first tier team in the Big Ten. Because when a quarterback with Nico Iamaliava's physical ability finally stops looking like he's trying to become the guy and starts acting like he already knows he is, that's when things can quickly change. So maybe we've been asking the wrong question about UCLA. Maybe the question isn't whether Bob Chesney can fix Nico Iamaliava. Maybe Nico didn't need fixing. Maybe he needed stability. Maybe he needed time. Maybe he needed confidence. Maybe he needed an offense that he could actually own instead of constantly learning what came next. And if that's what UCLA finally has given him, then the quarterback everybody has been waiting to see might finally be showing up. Doesn't guarantee UCLA is going to be a playoff contender or anything like that overnight. They could be. But it absolutely changes the ceiling for this football team. Because if Nico Iamaliava really does look different in this fall, UCLA could look different along with him. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know. You think we're going to see a different version of Nico this season? You think we're going to see the best version of Nico this season? What do you think is going to happen with UCLA football in 2026? I am John Rhodes with the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate you being here, and join us for live streams on Sunday and Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Zach, and check out our season previews. We got a season preview for every single Big Ten team out there. We'd love to see what you think and give your thoughts on those as well. So comment below. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.